friends, welcome to another session of Creating with Gorilla Art. This is one of my most favorite projects because we are taking a look at a very current, hip, and exciting artist, Heather Brown. This was definitely focused and derived from one of her art pieces. I'm gonna come up real close. There it is. Isn't that cute? It's called Juicy. Heather Brown does a lot of beautiful artwork. She's actually been voted and named the best artist in Hawaii for 4 consecutive years. She's also Rip Curl's go-to girl when it comes to doing art for their line. She has a special line for clothing called the Heather Brown Rip Curl. Heather Brown started out in Southern California, and she found such a love and a passion for doing 2 things: art and surfing. So what better place to do those things but in Hawaii? So she moved over there and she really honed in on her artistic skills. I have a whole video attached to a link rather that you can check out and see more information about Heather, and also I'm going to link her website. She's just an amazing artist, and I think her skills are so unique and beautiful. So that's why I chose to kind of feature Heather today in our, this is kind of a simplified version of it, but it still grabs what she's known for. And what she's known for are these thick lines. Her lines are even thicker on her painting. And she uses paint, but we're using washable markers here. And it gives us a really nice little look. Okay, so these are our supplies that we're going to be needing today. You're going to need watercolor paper. I've chosen to use a pretty big one, which is 11 by 14. I'm using the bumpy side up. We're going to be needing a Sharpie, pencil, eraser, and then our washable markers. I've been using these a lot lately, and they're just really easy to use. If you don't have these, you can use watercolor, or you can use watercolor pencils. But we definitely want to use some sort of water-soluble thing, such as the markers, because we're going to be blending them together. As you can see in this beautiful sunset, all those colors are kind of blended together, and I'll show you later what we do. Okay, so all of those colors, so very simple supply list today. And it actually really is a very simple painting, and you can add to it if you want. Let me go back to this. I just have this really pretty sunset. We have a couple of waves, breaking waves, and then the wave lines. You can add, you know, a dolphin jumping out. Definitely make it your own. Let me see that the imagination happening there. But we're gonna get started first with a line, a very simple line. We're going to do it across the middle of our paper. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to kind of eyeball where I think the middle is, and I'm going to do it here, both sides. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, okay? It really doesn't. You're going to be doing sketch mode. That is a very gentle, light drawing, because if you make a mistake, it's so easy to erase it, and it's not a problem. You definitely don't want to press too hard. I'm going to press rather hard because otherwise the camera won't see it. And that's my very simple horizon line. A horizon is where the sky meets the land, or the water in this case. That's where they come together. And that line that you see, if you've ever been to the beach and you've looked off into the distance, you do see a line where they meet, and that's called the horizon line. So we got our horizon line in. And then I'm going to start with doing some waves. You don't want to see I've seen kids do it where they have 500 billion little lines. I'm gonna go back to this real quick. See the distance in between them? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. You don't want to do more than 7. If you're getting too tiny, it's going to be too hard. We want to see some space. So I like to start on one side, and I'm just doing these soft waves all the way across. Do you see that? They're not pointy. They're just a nice, soft, wavy line. That's what these wavy lines are. Okay, there's another one. See, they're about, anywhere between 1 inch to 1/2 inch. And you don't want the waves to be the same. Do you see how they're a little different? Another one. And then we'll count. We'll see how many waves I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one only had 5. I had more in the other. But I like it. It's going to be good. Now we're going to add a couple of crashing waves. I'm going to do a real close-up so you can see it. Do you see how it has little lines and then it has curls? Those are called spiral lines. Okay, so you're learning about lines as well. We had our straight line for our horizon. These are called wavy lines. And we're going to show some curved lines. The curved line is going to be, I'm going to do it over here on this one. I'm going to go right on top of that because I'm going to erase. There's my curved line. It's one of the reasons you want to have it gentle so that you can do some erasing. My curved line. And then I'm going to do a little line that kind of follows that line. See that? Let me show another close-up. Okay. And I'm going to create these little lines that are just going back. See that? And then inside there, I'm going to do our spirals, our spiral curls. Those are supposed to kind of mimic, you know, the crashing white on a wave. Have you guys been to the beach before and seen waves? I think they're amazing. I love spending time in the water. When I was a kid, you couldn't get me out of the waves. I was body surfing, or I had a boogie board, or I was just floating. You don't want to do too many, otherwise it'll be really hard to paint. But you see? Now I'm going to do another one right in this area, and I don't want it the same, so I'm going to do it one lower. Erase that line that's there. Same way, I'm going to do a little mimicking line. And now I'm going to do my little spiral lines. I'm also doing the spirals different sizes. They're not all the same. You don't want 5 billion in there. Okay, so you got 3 lines you learned, right? Got our straight line, our wavy line, actually 4 lines. You got an arch line, and now you have your spiral. Now we're going to continue to do the arch line. Let's take a look at our original here. It's a nice soft line. Do you see? It isn't like a huge bump. It's just kind of a nice arch. Okay. And that starts in the middle of our paper. Feel good about that. Have you guys ever seen a sunset at the beach? That is so beautiful and magical to watch. If you're ever at the beach and you're there when it's light and it's going to become dark, definitely take the time and look out at the ocean and see if you can't see the sunset. That's when the sun is coming down past that horizon line and the sky just looks beautiful. Now, This has a lot of lines in it, but we're not doing that yet. We're gonna get into that later. We're just gonna put in our basic arch that goes all the way up. So I'm gonna do another one. Do notice how far apart they are. They're not like real close. I've got a good distance. Doesn't have to be perfect. Do another one. Almost looks like I'm doing a rainbow, doesn't it? Then we'll have another one. This one kind of stops, and then I'm going to pretend like it's going to continue on, and then I'll do one just like that here and here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to make you happy. Okay? Okay. So we've got our lines in, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go over it with a Sharpie. I'm going to do this pretty fast here, and then we're going to do this one a little later. So I'm going to put this in fast mode while you watch me do this. Okay, I've got all my lines traced on here. I want you to go ahead and pause me here, get caught up, and then we're gonna do the top half. Don't do the top half yet. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about something fun on that part. See you in a sec. Welcome back. So you've got caught up with the Sharpie here. Now we're gonna come up and do the Sharpie up here. But I want you to really have a lot of fun up here. I'm gonna come real close so you can see. I did all sorts of beautiful lines in here. I did wavy lines. You could add scallop lines. You could add all sorts of fun, different type of things. Notice that a lot of them have 2 or 3 arches going over the one. Heather does this a lot in her work, and I just think it's so pretty. So I'm going to start off with the horizon line. Let's get that line in. Right across, and then I'm going to start off. I think I'm just going to do this one simple. I'm going to do it 3 times back and forth, and I didn't care if it went over each other. I think it kind of made it fun. I think this one would be fun to do. This is what you call a scallop line, and then I'm going to do another kind of wavy on top, and maybe I'll do one more. I wouldn't suggest doing more than 3 lines though, because you don't want it to get too full of black lines, okay? This one, I think I'm gonna do these long waves. You get to pick what you wanna do, so everybody's will look different. It'll be fun to see. I'm gonna do little dots, because I like the dots, they're fun. Okay, I'm just gonna finish up these lines. These I might keep a little simple and just do 3 lines. Do that here. What are you gonna do? I look forward to seeing what you guys do. And then, I love scallop so much. I'm gonna go back to scallop. And then what I want you to do is to add a few things here and there. Maybe a little line in here. I love hearts, so I'm gonna incorporate some hearts. What do you love? What do you want to incorporate? They don't have to be exact or equal, but I am doing just a few in here. Let's see, get those finished. And do some heart lines. I don't think you should do a lot though, okay guys, so be careful. Here we go. Maybe, and you know what I haven't done is a zigzag. Here's a zigzag line. Isn't that fun? And that completes all of my Sharpie tracing lines. So you go ahead, get caught up, pause me here, and I'm gonna go ahead and erase all my little pencil lines that maybe I didn't trace over, and come back and meet me after you got caught up. Okay, so I got all my lines. Let me see, I forgot one. Almost all my lines erased, the pencil lines. And now I'm gonna come in with the watercolor or washable markers, and I'm gonna start coloring in. Now, taking a look at this picture, this is a blue and then we have a greenish blue. That is a hue of blue. It's a monochromatic colors, which means it's one color with different hues of it. So we have a hue of green in there, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to get that look. I'm going to use my marker. I like to use the side of it. And I'm just gonna start right in the corner. You don't have to color every single spot because we're gonna use water to spread it around. And see how I'm, like I said, I'm doing it on the side. If I were doing it straight up, I'd have little skinny lines, but I don't want skinny lines. I want these big fat lines. I'm doing it over the whole thing, and I'm also doing it from side to side. I'm not doing it up and down. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna color this part in. We're leaving the white spiral curls white because that's like you've seen in a wave where it has white caps. Okay. Now I'm gonna come back in with green and I'm gonna color over the blue with green every other one. So I'm gonna start here. Color this in every other one. So skipping that one. And I'm not covering every spot. You can see that there's quite a bit of green that didn't cover everything. And do this last one. And guess what? I'm gonna come back over again with the blue over that green, just over the green one. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna make it darker, and I just didn't want the blue, excuse me, the green to overpower. I still want it to be blue. Okay, got that all colored in. You can pause me here if you want. Get caught up with this section, and then we're going to do this section after. Okay, welcome back. So I'm leaving this part white, and I'm going to do it like a sunset, which would be yellow. Sometimes when the sun is so bright, it almost looks white. So that's why I'm leaving it. And this yellow will bleed a little bit into it, and it's just fine if it does. So we did yellow. Now we're gonna do orange And also notice that I'm not covering every single spot. I am going to try and continue to do the arch though. Sometimes you got to kind of turn your paper to make it easier. Okay. Now I'm going to do pink. Also notice that I'm doing the side of my marker just like you did down here. Okay. And then lastly, purple. It is almost like a rainbow. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I want you to get all caught up and then come back and we'll finish up. Welcome back. So I forgot to mention earlier that you definitely need a water bowl with water and you need a paintbrush. We're going to be painting water on this. And I'm going to start section by section. And I like to do it the same direction that you colored it. Notice that I'm not like going up and down. I'm just kind of continuing this line. Dip it in once. And I'm doing, see how I skipped that one? Because we're going to do that after all of them. Look at how it spreads. Now, if you didn't have these markers and you were just using watercolor, you would have just applied the color just like you did here. Every other. Okay, I'm going to dip. Back and forth. See, I'm not going crazy. I'm not like just doing the whole thing. Definitely doing it wave by wave. I think it's so pretty. Now I'm going to dip again and I'm going to do the green part. Do you see how that blue is still peeking through? So it's a different hue of blue. When you look at oceans, the sea, it has different colors in it. Green is definitely in the ocean. There we go. One more dip, we'll do this one. It's a fairly easy art project, but you can really incorporate anything you want. Like I said, back when we were doing the drawing here, you could have added anything. You can just create a new one. Let's see, a whale, maybe a mermaid's tail. Now I've got a lot of green left over on my brush, so I want to clean it really, really good. I like to tap it at the bottom of my bowl 10 times, and then I'm going to dry it off to make sure that all the green is gone and the blue. And it looks pretty clean. So now I'm going to start again. Now this is important, okay? I want you to start with the yellow. And you have to make sure you got a clean brush, otherwise you're gonna have a very green sunset. And I'm just gonna continue. Look at how I'm going back and forth. Just, my brush is like that arch. Okay, another dip. Here we go. A little more. Look at how pretty that it just smeared all around. If you get a chance to go on Heather's website, you should definitely check out her artwork. Oh, and then the exciting thing is, and I'll leave a link for that too, she has coloring pages that you can download and color them in. I would love to see that if you did that. Artwork, you could hashtag her on Instagram. I would imagine you just would hashtag Heather Brown. It'd be really fun to see her coloring pages, I'm sure. Take a look, I'm all done. How easy was that? It's a really fun project, and it's such a fun person that we were learning about. You should definitely check her out. Like I said, I will leave a link down with all her information, but don't forget to post your picture on my Instagram. You want to hashtag me at Gorilla Art Studio, or you could do hashtag Gorilla Art Sunset. And most important, subscribe to my channel. I am posting all the time with brand new content, not just these lessons, but I have a little challenges here and there, and I would love to see what you're doing, so don't forget to post your pictures. Okay guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next Creating with Gorilla Art.